Welcome back to Brick by Brick. Today we're going to be doing my latest 2026 presidential Senate prediction. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I thought I'd go ahead and make a new one. So I've already characterized all the safe and likely states. Just came with that. I changed the lean states to battleground, just so we could have a few more states to talk about. But in general, we'll get started with I think there will be some lean Republican states, and I think we're going to go with Maine and Ohio here as lean Republican states. Maine, it's Susan Collins. If it were a typical Republican, the Democrats might have a better chance. Susan Collins does have a relatively low approval rating, so it could be an indication that she is more likely to be defeated during these midterms, but I do think that because she's running again, it will most likely be a victory for the Republican Party. And I should point out, before we even characterize these two states, right off the bat, Republicans are at 50 seats. So even if Democrats were to win every single seat, Republicans would still control the Senate because J.D. Vance would be the tie-breaking vote, at least for the next 2 years after this election. But the story gets even better for Republicans. We will switch back to those two states. So we have the states of Ohio and Maine going to the Republican Party, and that brings the Republicans up to 52 Senate seats, to the Democrats 43. 41, but with two independents that caucus with the Democrats. And then we'll get to, there is some good news for the Democrats, though. We'll get to the lean Democrat states. I do think that Minnesota and New Hampshire will most likely be in the Democratic column. All these could change in a hypothetical situation, but if the election were to be held today, I do think that is probably how those two states would vote. And then we get up to the tilt states. So these are going to be a little more interesting. I'm going to add the tilt characterization. I think that the story in Michigan is probably going to result in a Democratic victory. Generally, the party that is not in the executive branch does pretty well during the midterms, so I'm guessing that will give a Democratic edge because Trump is currently president, and it will be a favorable, we still got plenty of time, so it may not be a favorable set of elections for Democrats, but if it were to be held today, that's just kind of the general trend, and it would go that way. And then I think that it's probably going to be a similar story in Georgia. Georgia might be closer than Michigan, but all these states are going to be close. And then there's a bit of an interesting situation. If I remember correctly, the Republican incumbent in North Carolina is not running for re-election, so that gives an edge to the Democrats to possibly pick up a seat. But at the moment, just because the market has recovered and there's some indication Trump's approval rating is still down, but I do think that it would be very difficult for Democrats to be able to pick up that seat. Democrats have really hoped to win this state for quite a while. It's possible in the long run it'll happen again. Last time it happened was when Obama first ran. But in general, that gives us our prediction. It ends up being the same electoral makeup or political makeup in the Senate as it is now. We have the 53 seats for the Republicans to 47 for the Democrats. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.